Earlier in this week's show, we were talking about how those on the left side of politics like to deceive and manipulate. But there is a mob who are far less ethical than even left-wing politicians and bureaucrats. Unions. Well, not all unions, some are good, but just the ones that don't support their members, but instead charge them a fortune in union fees so they can do all sorts of political things with the money that serve their own interests. Some unions you may have heard of in the news lately, allegedly even getting involved in using bikie gangs for their enforcement games and running protection rackets that would make the mafia blush. I actually thought we already had laws in this country against violence, threats, standover tactics and extortion, and that these were being policed and enforced properly by good, honest police, good, honest lawyers, judges and politicians. But I must have made a mistake. Maybe I'm not watching enough Netflix shows that normalise such criminality in Western culture these days. Silly old me, I'm so old-fashioned. Got to get hip with the cool kids on Breaking Bad and The Sopranos, I guess, the anti-heroes. So much cleverer and wiser and cooler than us boring, law-abiding Christian folk, or Jewish folk, or whatever. Anyway, after decades of allowing all this union thuggery to go on in broad daylight, our intrepid Labor Party leaders have decided to come to the rescue by finally pretending to notice and pretending to do something about it. Hooray! A bill was passed in Parliament this week, after being completely stalled last week, that will see all branches of the CFMEU forced into administration. This week started with the Liberal National Coalition and Labor uniting to accuse the Greens of, quote, blocking every single effort to try to hold corruption, lawlessness, thuggery in the union movement to account, unquote. That call came from Liberal Senator Simon Birmingham. And Labor joined in the attack on the Greens, no doubt delighted to have the focus shifted off them for a split second. Last week, the Coalition and the Greens had united against Labor and knocked back the new laws. But for different reasons, the Liberals said that the laws didn't go far enough, while the Greens argued that they needed more time to look over the detail. Detail? I mean, since when have Greens ever cared about detail? Don't you just go with the vibe of the thing? Work out which side the rich, productive people are on and just, vote against that? Anyway, here's how the ABC reported on the news that the bill had finally passed this week.
On the back of allegations the union's been infiltrated by organised crime, the federal government's pushing new laws to force it into administration. It's now secured the coalition's support by agreeing to a minimum 3-year period of administration, additional parliamentary scrutiny, potential life bans for officials, and the blocking of union money to political parties.
The time for corruption, criminality, violence and bikies in Australia's construction union and the industry is coming to an end.
ABC News reporting there, and that was Murray Watt, Albo's Workplace Relations Minister, looking tough, cracking down on the alleged criminality that everybody knew was going on, but nobody did anything about for years until 60 Minutes put the spotlight on it. So Labor and the Coalition agreed to pass the law and it went through 39 votes to 10. But I want everyone to pay attention to this next bit. The Greens did not support the bill, and more importantly, they would not rule out accepting future donations from the CFMEU. Let me just repeat that. The Greens, the moral high ground, holier-than-thou party, would not rule out accepting future political donations from the CFMEU. You'd think part of the new laws would be that the CFMEU would be banned from giving any public donations to political parties while under administration. That's just logical and obvious, right? But no, that's not in the new laws. Amazing. The very next day after the laws were passed, the CFMEU said it was looking at a possible High Court challenge. This is an unprecedented attack on unions, said a whole bunch of far-left unions. Don't these politicians realise that we unions are above the law? They didn't actually say that last bit, that was just me editorialising. But here's what they did say. The Australian reports that the United Firefighters Union are backing the possible High Court challenge. The Electrical Trades Union in Victoria have said that the laws are a betrayal of the union movement by the Labor government. And a number of state union secretaries from different unions across the country were appalled at a lack of due process. Oh, lack of due process, right. But the actual alleged criminality that we need to investigate, that's fine, right? No problem with that. Anyway, folks, one thing is for certain. Honest, hard-working, law-abiding Aussies like you and me will keep on paying. We will keep paying 30 to 50% more for every public building that gets constructed above fair market price. Why? Because of the cosy nexus between the Labor Party, the CFMEU, and the builders themselves as they cooperate to extract more of your tax dollars than they should get if we just had an open competitive tendering market and a free and fair market for wages in the building industry. I'm very cynical about anything actually changing, but I guess we'll see. It'd be nice to see a royal commission with teeth though, Elbow. As much as I hate layers of bureaucracy and endless commissions of inquiry into things, the bureaucrats should just be getting on with fixing them. We do, in this case, probably need a royal commission so that they have the power to really dig into the depths of this and get to the bottom of all the corruption. But of course, that could impact the left-wing political parties badly, so, you know, Elbow's just waiting for all this to blow over and for you to forget about it. With all the government crackdown on freedom of speech and digital IDs and marketing companies manipulating your information, you would be crazy not to have a virtual private network on your laptop and phone. In fact, all of your devices. I was once a bit afraid of how these things work, that they might, slow down my internet speed or be too complicated to set up. But private internet access is terrific. And when you buy from them, you're supporting the other side too, because they're one of our sponsors. So to help keep yourself safe from big government and big corporations with a VPN, get onto private internet access. We have done a fantastic deal just for other side viewers. You're going to get 83% off the usual price and 4 months free. That brings it down to just $2.68 a month, a half a cup of coffee. It's amazing. You just got to use the special access code that you can see on your screen right now. That is piavpn.com, piavpn.com/other side, and you'll get that discount if you do that, okay? It's super easy to download, super easy to get running, literally just takes a few minutes, and it's always on. It didn't slow down my internet speed one bit. And a side benefit is that I can now watch Netflix using my Netflix account as if I'm in any country in the world, which opens up the whole global Netflix library to me. And best of all, by using PIA, you're supporting the other side in a very big way and helping us to keep on providing an alternative to the mainstream media focused on Aussie news. piavpn.com/other side, get on it. If you like that clip, there's more where that came from in our full show, The Other Side. You can watch it right here, the latest episode. And please subscribe to our channel by pressing the subscribe button right here or down here. And remember to click that notification bell too. It all helps. Join us and become part of The Other Side.